Are India and Russia now closer than ever before in their relationship? Well, if you go by what Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said to Russian President Vladimir Putin exactly 1 week ago in Moscow, then one would think that India has now clearly upped the ante as far as India's relationship with Moscow is concerned. And in a clear message, perhaps to the West and to other countries like China, India and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh reiterated that the long-standing relationship between the two countries is deeper than the deepest oceans and higher than the higher mountains, perhaps borrowing from what the Chinese have been saying about their friendship with the Pakistanis, and gave a message that India is not going to abandon Russia no matter what the pressure from the West. This trend has been noticeable since 2022 when Russia launched its special operations against Ukraine, and the entire Western Hemisphere united against Russia's aggression, as they called it. But India chose to, I would say, remain very pragmatic. It told Russia in no uncertain terms. In fact, Prime Minister Modi told President Putin that this is not the era of war, but did not condemn Russia like the others, and continued to support or extend India's willingness to negotiate or mediate between the two countries, Ukraine and Russia. That shows that India is really, taking its own approach and not going by what the West wants it to do. And Prime Minister Modi, as all of you are aware, was at the BRICS summit in Kazan in Russia. Again, he's had two meetings with President Putin. His first visit after taking over as Prime Minister for the third time was to Russia, as you will recall, in a clear signal to the West. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh reiterated it when he went for the annual intergovernmental commission on military and inter-technical commission that both Russia and India have, a mechanism much like what they have on ISET between India and US, but a much long-standing one between India and Russia. He was in Moscow, led a very high-powered delegation which included the chief of the naval staff, also deputy chiefs from the other two forces, and a host of MOD top officials. Clearly, what Rajnath Singh told the Russians was twofold. One, our political, diplomatic, civilizational ties remain as firm as ever, and India will, like I said, never give up its friendship with Russia. But at the same time, he reiterated that India wants to become self-sufficient in military equipment and platforms and supplies, and therefore the focus has shifted from buying equipment or importing equipment from other countries. Mainly Russian equipment India has been using for the last 4 decades or so. That dependence, he made it clear, will reduce, because India needs to be self-dependent and self-reliant on ammunition, on defense platforms, and invited Russian companies, Russian scientists, Russian entrepreneurs to invest in the robust Make in India program that India has launched for defense. And again, a very mixed but very firm message to the world as well as to the Russians, that India will continue to support you, but don't take us for granted as far as importing defense equipment is concerned. And that's exactly what was the idea, that when the defense minister went there, he would convey this. This also shows that the defense minister's standing within the Indian government has also gone up. And now he's more articulate, more prone to give statements which he was very careful about in terms of foreign relations. But his visit to Moscow last week was certainly a turning point, I would say, in his own approach to how he interacts or how he articulates himself in the public. I think that is needed to be highlighted, and that's why the background that I have spoken to you about.